hold on, did China just save Marvel from itself? That seems to be the case with Marvel Rivals, as it introduces a lot of new characters that look more comic accurate, and I dare say not ugly at all, because that seems to be the case with a lot of Marvel properties nowadays, especially the comic books, where we see a lot of changing of the costuming, where it has to be more conservative and appropriate for the modern age of entertainment, where there's not supposed to be too many revealing outfits or appealing poses for a lot of these characters, and that is being thrown away to the wayside with a lot of these character introductions, where we're getting a lot of curvy, very feminine looking characters nowadays, which hasn't been the case for Marvel for the entertainment side, whether it's comic books or movies. We've been getting the opposite from Marvel from all different iterations. I think this is none more prominent with Psylocke, where you never get to see Psylocke's character in this way with her original outfit besides the X-Men Apocalypse movie, but that was way before the progressive push within the entertainment industry. And I think when you're watching this game itself, you see a lot of the things with the characters are more in line with what we've seen in the old style classic comic books. And I think that's the thing comic book lovers like about Marvel Rivals, where it's staying true to the overall connected roots of what made these comic books excellent. I think seeing Psylocke in her new skin is a best example of that, because we see Psylocke in the way we always wanted to see her, and to see her in this game like that, I think that's appropriate for anyone that is a big fan of Marvel in general. And I think seeing some of these characters like Storm in their original curvy, seductive style that we haven't seen since the X-Men 90s series, where we had the version of Storm that was appealing, attractive, actually feminine in such ways while being strong in a feminine way, is the version of Storm we just see that as an impossibility nowadays, with a massive, progressive, modern push for restricting females' looks and making them more like boys rather than women. I think that's the thing we're seeing the opposite of with all these character reveals, especially some of the old character reveals like Mantis and Storm and all these other characters, where they really do look like their comic book counterparts, and they really showcase the old style video gaming designs, where you make characters have feminine poses, look appealing, look attractive, and more than anything, look strong at the same time while still being a woman at essence. And I think that's what we see with a lot of the character profiles from this game. If you don't know anything about Marvel Rivals, it's a game being developed by a Chinese company. So it's not surprising to see this type of content from that company, because they're trying to sell video games in China. You can't sell video games in China if you're making all characters but ugly and unattractive and unappealing to the gamer base that is out there willing to purchase this game. And I think this is how you sell a game in general, by making all the characters look attractive and appealing, or have their own unique aspects that are attributable to them within the comic book or any original source material. I think that's what we're seeing here with this version of Marvel superheroes, where we have to go to China to see the original Marvel superheroes in all of their glory nowadays. And that's the thing you're getting here with Squirrel Girl as well, where we're getting the version that we seen in the comic books, where she's not all thin, but she never was that in the comic books. But you still have the thick version that people imagine, specifically with the voice actors from the AT&T commercials. I forget, it's AT&T or T-Mobile commercials. We actually have her playing the character, and it looks like the character, and it's kind of one-to-one matchup to the body sizes and traits of the actress and the character. I think it just matches so well. I think the gamers are just ecstatic by seeing Marvel superheroes look like Marvel superheroes again. Because if you see what's going on in the comic books, you see the opposite happening, where you don't get those Marvel type superheroes, where you get the modern day Marvel type superheroes, where they're masculinized if you're a female hero, and you're feminized if you're a male hero, or you maybe even turn your entire gender preference and be an LGBTQ-oriented character rather than your original character's intent, where it's just not about the heroes anymore, and it's more about the messaging you want to push. Heroes are not cool anymore, just sitting at cafes, eating croissants, talking about their life and relationships, and nothing important happens unless it has to do with their uterus or their private parts. And I think that's a frustrating thing for a person that has been a fan of these Marvel superheroes for a long time, where you can't get a design that looks like the hero anymore, because it's unacceptable for them to have that costume anymore. It's unacceptable for them to have a haircut. It's unacceptable for them to act like a woman anymore. And it's unacceptable for any parts that are kind of the original essence of the character to be displayed. And I think that's the thing that we're seeing with Marvel Rivals. It's coming from a Chinese company, but it seems like they're more in touch with Marvel superheroes than their American counterparts. I think that's a frustrating thing for gamers nowadays, where we have to go to a Chinese company to see a pure version of the Psylocke skin. It's crazy, but that is the world we live in. We have to go to a Chinese developer in NetEase Games to actually produce content like this. And it's just a crazy thing that we've been seeing throughout the video gaming industry, where the content has been coming from East Asian companies to actually push through and make games that are in line with what gamers actually want to see. And this is the wild part of the gaming industry nowadays, where we're getting the character models that we want from different companies that don't even know the comic book world anymore. They don't know the culture, but they know what the gamers want. And I think it's in line with the original classic comic books of the past. And we see this appearing on screen because these people that are making games in China know what sells. And we're seeing this in all the character models. You can just look at it right here with Squirrel Girl, Psylocke. You see this with Scarlet Witch, Luna, Storm, Magic, everyone. There's a quality of design here that is just unmatched from what we've been seeing from Western game developers that are just too stuck up on the idea that male characters have to look effeminate and more LGBTQ oriented, lest they be too masculinized and aggressive. And you see the opposite with female characters, where they have to be bulky, unattractive, and less feminine to be more strong, because being a male is the quintessential goal of being a woman, apparently, to the game developers in the West. And I think this contrast has been destroying the gaming industry for a long time, and it's a relief for gamers to come to a Chinese game like Marvel Rivals and to see the character models and designs that we've been seeing all throughout our lives as we read comic books or played some of these old video games that are wrapped up in the superhero world. And it's crazy to see these characters come alive again through Chinese companies. Just shows that massive fall off that we're seeing in the Western games development sphere, where we can't make games like this anymore. And we're seeing this play out not only with Marvel, we're seeing this play out with games like Horizon Zero Dawn, where China has its own version of Horizon Zero Dawn coming out called Light of Motaram, which has a similar robotic dinosaurs that we saw in Horizon Zero Dawn. And they're doing it in such a way where they're removing all the restriction of the modern day progressive ideology and just sticking to the gameplay. You see players moving towards this game because they're making something that is around their ballpark of what they find engaging. And I think that's the thing China is winning with nowadays in the American market. They know they're still sticking to making good games, and they're pushing out any ideology that has anything that restricts that. And I think that's the thing fans are cheering for with Marvel Rivals, and I think that's what we're cheering for when we see the characters that we grew up with actually look like the characters we grew up with. And I think this is the amazing thing China is doing with a lot of the properties that they have control of or are just contributing to. But you tell me what you think about the situation. Do you think China is saving the gaming industry, saving Marvel from itself? I think that's what we're seeing with these designs of these characters. I miss these type of styles of characters. It's interesting. It's fun to see them again. And I'm hoping we get more of this from Chinese developers. We're not going to get it from American developers, but Chinese developers are sticking to the tried and true method of making successful games, and that is making beautiful, attractive characters, and of course, good gameplay. So I'm hyped for it, but you leave a comment, tell me what you think, like, comment, share, subscribe. This is Wagner Knows Why. Catch you next time.